Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Fred and Friends. First of all, Happy New Year to everybody. I hope everybody had a safe, good time for New Year's. I know I did. I stayed at home, watched football, and ate myself into a coma. But anyhow, that's a whole nother show. I'll get into that some other time. But I've got some great guys on here tonight. I'm very fortunate to go way back in paintball, and I've got a guy on here tonight that's went way back with me. Him and I played our first tournament against each other in 1988. So that should be pretty cool. I'm going to butcher his name, but Mike Bogaloo. Anyhow, and I've got another great guy, a first responder. Everybody knows I love the first responders. Police, ambulance, fire, all of those guys. They mean the world to us. Period. They're the guys that get out there and put their butts on the line to keep us all safe, healthy, and take care of things. I've got Mr. Brownie Brown on here tonight. Great guy. And then, of course, I've got my buddy, Mr. Andy Starrett. He really doesn't need to introduce him. Everybody knows who he is. He'll be the guy as soon as I bring everybody up. Be him and Steve McGuire will be griping about how long my monologue is. So I'm going to try to cut it a little shorter here tonight. This way he doesn't have a lot to yell at me about, just a little bit. But I got a couple things I want to mention here first, real quick. Right here, let's see, can I get it over there? Yep, this is going to be the first ever Psycho Clown Posse. They're going to be raising money for their team. It's going to be January 6th down at SC Village. And if you get a chance, go down and play play alongside these guys and support them. This is one great group of paintball players. Don't let the name fool you. These guys are absolutely terrific people, and they work very hard for the sport of paintball too. So get a chance, go down there January 6th, excuse me, XC Village, and show your support for the Psycho Clown Posse. Great bunch of guys, really are. And then also talking about SC, February 10th and 11th, which is coming up, in a little bit over a month now. We're going to have the first WCPL tournament down there at SC Village. It's the first of 5 throughout the year. So you're going to want to jump on PB Leagues and get your team registered. Let's get some teams down there and let's have a good time. All right. SC Village is a terrific place to go and play. If you've never been there before, you're going to want to go check it out. It's killer. It really is. And then I've got a 1 versus 1. This is going to be January 26th, and it's at Fairfield Extreme up here in California, Central California. And they're going to use like the Hormesis field layout, and it's going to be 1 versus 1. It's something that the Hormesis guys, Ali and Ryan and Alex all got it going, and it's pretty cool. It's really cool. So Fairfield Extreme's jumping into it also. It's going to be January 28th, and you're going to want to go check that out, Fairfield Extreme. Then I got to say something here real quick. This really blows my mind, too. I got a text from a person that I've known quite a while the other day, and they asked me, they go, do you know that Ken Hollywood Gilder has passed away? Well, Ken passed away before Christmas last year. Now, when I bring Mike on, Mike and I are going to talk a little bit about him because Ken was one of them guys, he wrote for magazines and he took pictures and stuff like that. But, he was one of them guys. He was a very friendly guy. Always had a suit coat and pants on, always had a smile, very funny, very impressionable. And it really surprised me that nobody knew that he had passed away last year, which kind of blew me away. So anyhow, Mike and I are going to talk a little bit about him tonight because we both knew him very good for very many years. So let me get my shout outs real quick so I can bring these guys out here real quick. And then that way Andy can't say, because last time I did my shout outs, I had to wake Andy up. So, but this time I'm going to try to make it quick and I'll say them loud so he'll stay awake. Maybe that might help, I guess. I don't know. But I start every week with Mr. Tim Schloss, Tiger Stripe Camouflage, Gateway Paintball in St. Louis. One of the nicest guys you'd ever want to know. And he has the last of the WCPL tournaments in October. And I got to tell you, last year, it was a happening. It really was. You get a chance, you're going to want to go check that out. And then Dan and John Colby, Immortal Air. They wore Air America back in the days. I've been sponsored by these guys for 30-some years. Mr. Bud Orr, all I have to say is Bud's name. Don't have to say much more about him. He's just a great guy. Great for paintball back then. Super great for paintball now. Absolutely is. Mr. Tom K was my second marker sponsor for many, many years. Airgun Designs, shot the Automag. Terrific marker. And then Rainey and Juvie Boucher had Paintball News. Paintball News 2 times a month. You could go out to the field, pick up a Paintball News. Didn't cost the player a penny. Told you what just happened, what was coming up, what was for sale, the big games, where the tournaments were. And he had a field locating all the paintball tournaments across the U.S. Because you got to remember, back then, there wasn't like a paintball field every 50 miles. They were very few and far between. Take my word for it. And then Randy Camilla, editor for APG back in the day. Jerry Braun, editor for Paintball Sports. And Jerry has the paintball sport field in New York, where the third of the WCPL tournaments is held out there in Newburgh, New York. Great place. So, I see Ryan Courtney says, howdy, Golden Eagle. First of all, Ryan Courtney, I got to personally wish you a very happy New Year. You're a terrific guy. I see some of the stuff you post. You travel an awful lot, my friend. You're like I used to be all the time, on the go. But you're a good guy. You really are. And Golden Eagle, smile. I want you to smile. I had Golden Eagle on my show, and I plan on having him on my show again this year. He was a good interview. I had a good time with the guy. I really like him. So anyhow, and then Ross Alexander was my very first marker sponsor. I actually still have my original pump Bushmaster up here that I played my first tournaments with back when it was 15. And when I bring Mike up, Mike and I'll talk a little bit about that. It was a lot of fun back in the day. Jim Lively's tournaments, which is, I believe, the first tournament Mike and I played against each other in 1988. I believe it was at the Masters. Jim Lively's in Tennessee. 2 tournaments you wanted to do every year. If you wanted to go hang out with the best of the best, you did Jim Lively's tournament in Nashville. You did the Jerry Braun's World Cup in New York. It was like a homecoming. It was absolutely terrific. I loved it. Then I mentioned Gino every week. Gino from Velkin. Great guy. Works very hard for the sport behind the scenes. Every time I mention Gino's name, they go, oh, man, he's that guy who's got all these big stores. Yeah, he's got all of that, but I got to tell you, worked his butt off to get it. I wish everybody could know the whole story behind it and what he actually still does for the sport of paintball. It's absolutely terrific. It really is. And then I mention my 2 young guns every week, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong. Because, the young guns, they are the future, believe me. So let me bring my guests out. See, they kept it down. Yeah. I don't see Andy crying in the green room, so I must have did pretty good, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. Play paintball. Now he's got. There we go. Let me bring out there. Play. Wow. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Everybody needs a paintball marquee sign.
Yeah. I got one that says open. I got you. That isn't the same as play paintball, but I got this my Stronghold shirt on.
There you go.
Yeah, Steve McGuire and I we're still going to fire this thing off. We had kind of a glitch because when we first started it, he had to go to work, and things are just rough for the poor guy back then. But he's starting to get a lot better right now. So Ryan Courtney says he loves that.
But during that shorter monologue that we all appreciate, it just made me think.
Yeah.
Kat, how does it feel to know that Ross Alexander's Bushmasters lasted longer than your hair? Yeah. Gave you a chance for a new one.
I felt that all the way from there. All right, that was a good one. That was a good
Yeah,
one.
right.
Andy knew he was going to be on his show yesterday, so my guess is he stayed up all night to think of that. But
Had to get with Steve. He's the joke writer.
yeah. Oh, I thought Steve sent that down to you. You know how Steve is. There, and Steve is watching right now.
See, Steve's got my
Yeah.
back.
All right, let's bring out these two guys. I got a couple of great guys on here tonight. I got a first responder, which I know that you are really, really big on first responders.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a guy that him and I go back. I'm not going to say the dinosaurs were roaming the earth, but I think it was right after they were eliminated. I'm pretty sure. So let's just bring both of them out here. Please, everybody, welcome Mr. Brownie Brown. Hey, what's going on, Brownie?
What's up, guys?
Brownie.
And let's bring back a guy that
responders.
I went head to head with a gazillion years ago. A terrific guy. We call him Boogie because I can't pronounce his last name. Please, everybody, welcome Mike. Now, you see it on the screen, but I'm going to give it a shot. Boogaloo. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, what's happening?
How close was I?
Close enough.
Yeah, that means it sucked. Everybody's always polite to me.
You know,
He gets mine
Ryan
wrong, too,
Courtney
don't
and
worry.
I used to referee together in the NXL.
Who did?
Ryan Courtney.
Oh, really?
Yeah, me and him were
Wow.
old friends.
Let me see. Here we go. Yeah. Ryan Courtney watches the show every week. Him and Paul Farrell are the first two to jump on every week. And I follow. He travels around. He flies everywhere, man. I just seen a picture that he just had. He's in some warehouse putting something together or something. But man, I got to tell you, he's a great, great guy. So you guys ref together, huh?
Yeah.
For what? The NXL?
The NXL,
MPPL?
and I think it was 2002, 2003. We were together in those years.
Wow, that is so cool. You and I got a lot of history against playing against each other. I was telling everybody before the show started that you and I went against each other in 1988, and I believe it was at the Masters, at Jim Lively's Masters.
No, it was at Hermitage Landings.
That's correct.
Yep. National Survival Game Championships that we were at. NSG.
There you go. Absolutely. I still got the patch, actually.
So do I. It's on this jacket here.
Yeah, I never sewed mine on. I still got it sitting here. I think I got two of them, actually. I was going to keep one and then sew one on, but I never sewed it on. So, but yeah, that's a long time.
The back of this chair is my patch jacket. It's got right around 100 patches on it.
Wow.
Including your team.
Yeah, you got my team on there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Constant Pursuit, yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, Mike, that was the first place, the first time, not in 88, but the first time I ever played what they called a speedball field was at Hermitage Landing when he took and set up all them bales of hay down by the water down there by that
right next to the vendor's
slide. Yeah.
I played it.
You played it?
I got a picture of me on the hay bale with a VM68.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, they had a film crew there, and the guy goes like this. He goes, Mr. Schultz, do you mind if we follow you while you play it? And I go, well, it's pretty quick. I said, and everybody shoots the heck out of me, but you can follow me. Man, we weren't into that thing for 15 seconds. And I heard him going, I got to get out of here. Because they were shooting at me, and he's back there trying to film, I'm ducking, but he isn't.
Did you ever see the movie Failure to Launch with Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker?
Yep.
Well, when they filmed the paintball scenes, that was filmed along the lake Pontchartrain outside of New Orleans. And when they did the first firing, they wanted to fire paintballs at each other, and they fired the paintballs. All of a sudden, they fired probably 20, 30 rounds, and all of a sudden, all this screaming came from the soundboard guy just off camera, off the field. What had happened is the balls had gone up, hit into the tree, and all the spray went all over his equipment. And he wasn't happy.
That happened, When we did the show down at ESPN, we had 8 cameras out there, and we had them up on lifts and all kinds of things. They had those things covered up like you couldn't believe. And you know what? None of the cameras got shot. It was incredible.
I worked an NXL event, World Cup 2004, I want to say. That's when they were trying to get Dick Clark and the Dick Clark Productions to start producing with the NXL. And they set up one of those railroad track thingies right behind me along the snake so they could follow the snake guy as his run. I was trying to referee an entire tournament without killing myself on that thing.
Yeah, get a little slippery, huh?
Well, it was a railroad track.
Yeah, well, you know,
yeah, a little one, but I have enough problems trying to get to the player. I don't need to be hurting
over that
to get to him.
Well, that's like, with the first time I went up and I played in the Dome up in Canada, Steve McGuire, because, they had the AstroTurf down there. And, the more it got shot, man, that was like playing on ice.
It was. I was nuts.
My shoes are grabbing really good. And that's where I met Steve McGuire, and I didn't know him for years and years. But he came up to me and asked me what kind of shoes I was wearing. And I told him. And he ran down the street to a Reebok dealer down there and bought a pair and came back and played. So, and then I didn't know that I had ever met him. And then about 4 years ago, I was introduced to him, and it kind of blew me away when he brought that up. That was him way back in the day.
2002 Skyball event was the very first event for the PRO reffing crew, and Ryan Courtney was part of that.
Oh, really? Yeah, I was looking at those.
That was our first event, that Skyball event.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you were there for the very first one when all the blow up started going down.
No, I wasn't there for the first one.
Yeah, and then here we go. There's Steve McGuire. Yep, that was Reebok Juggernauts. Right on, Steve. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But yeah, the first one they had, you'd run up and you could lean into the blow up thing because half the air was out of it, man. It was incredible. And I think Bobby Durst is suggested using the big tractor tires and putting something over it. I think that's how they did the next one. It worked perfect then.
Yeah. I remember one of our local teams here from calling. I don't know if they went under the Annihilators or not, but they went up there and they played that event, and they were all the big blow up tire thingies.
Yep. See you. There we go. This is Ryan. So yeah, Ryan must like you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we go way back. We had some good times together.
Wow, yeah.
The hardest shower I ever had in my life was outside somewhere off of the 10. Outside, we left Satcong Village, and we came back to the hotel, and you literally had to hang on to the shower head. It was coming out 45, 50 PSI. It was nuts. That felt like a good pressure wash after a hard day of roughing.
I love it. Well, we got Brownie Brown on here, and Brownie's been wanting to be on a long time, and I wanted to get him on a long time. We just finally linked up. But Brownie drives an ambulance, and last night, I wanted to jump on and make sure our connections and everything worked really good. So we were just on for a few minutes, but every time we were going to go ahead and link up, he had a run he had to go do. So, you know what I think? I think first responders is the same thing that Andy will talk about too. He's really big into all of these guys, like all of us should be, because they do so much for us. But Brownie, I want to welcome you to the show, buddy.
Thanks. About time.
Yeah. Hey, right. Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, that's for sure.
He's pretty forgetful, don't worry.
You are who? Anyhow, yeah, I think we've been talking about getting you on for what now, a year?
Yeah, at least 6 months to a year.
Yeah, okay. I like the 6 months better. I don't feel so bad then. Cool. Yeah, I'll go with the 6 month deal. So, Brownie, I'm going to ask Mike this in just a little bit, but everybody who comes on the show, I always ask them, how did you get started in paintball? So give us a quick rundown of how you got going in paintball.
A friend of mine was having his bachelor party, so I went and bought a paintball gun, pump, and that's how I got started. I started playing at Cousins Paintball, Quorum, New York.
And you're still playing, huh?
You didn't try rental equipment first? You just went out and bought a marker and jumped
went out and bought a marker. I didn't want, I went out and bought a Maverick pump, tank, everything, 6845. And then I got hooked after that. I worked for Cousins Paintball for many years. And then after they moved to out east, then I worked for High Velocity. And then I played for many years, sponsored my own team. I mean, 98, stuff like that. We dismantled. I stopped playing for a while, started reffing again. And I ref PSP 2014, Chicago and Cup. And then as soon as I turned to NXL, I refed for like 2 seasons. And then I stopped. And then I started playing again. So now I play with a team. They're from North Carolina. They call the Headhunters from North Carolina. So I went down there, played a few events. Did my my time with them, got shot in, ran the gauntlet, and then after that, had to work my butt off to get my own chapter.
Well, okay, so you got your own chapter now. So how did you go about getting that? Just being in a different area.
A lot of butt kissing, a lot of butt kissing. No, I went down to North. We went down 2.5 years ago. Me and three of my friends, we went to North Carolina. We played an event. We played one of DJ Hano's events, CPX Bones and Ashes. I hooked up with one of the guys there, Chuck Garza, and then we played that weekend. And then I tell my guys, like, yo, let's try to hook up with these guys. Let's try to join their team. Those three didn't want to hear it, so I said, all right, see you later. And then I just kept going back down for events, and then I got hooked up with those guys.
Oh, and so then they authorized you to go ahead and start a team in your area then, huh?
Yeah, it took a while. I had to prove to them that I can handle my own chapter and stuff like that. So I had my buddy Andrew, now that he's active military. He's over in San Diego. He's leaving, he's there now. And he was my right-hand man. Still is. Just, he's in San Diego. And yeah, we just, we had to do everything. Go to events, blood, sweat with these guys. Show them that we can handle it. And then we talked to another chapter member, Chuck Garza. And then that's it. He spoke to all the captains, and they voted on it, and they gave us a chapter. I mean, they made me suffer a little bit. He told me that I was getting it, but the other guys were like, yo, just make him suffer, make him sweat it out for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah,
So
they got to make it worth it, though,
No, it was worth it. It was worth it.
If it's good, it's not easy. Come on, you know that.
Oh no, so, it was not easy as well.
Yeah. So Andy, you're big on first responders all the time. The motorcycle group that you actually, the Punishers, which Golden Eagle is an honorary member of the Punishers now. And I think he's watching right now, too, because somebody mentioned him a little bit ago.
Oh, he probably is.
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know who the Golden Eagle is, it's Kieran Johnson. I had him on his show just a week or two ago, actually. And, he he's a lot of fun. He really is. And I'm looking forward to having him back on again. But you do an awful lot of amazing things with a lot of the first responders also, am I right?
You mean like drop Golden Eagle off at his house every weekend after we've been out at the field? Yes.
Yeah, just knowing you, do you stop, or you just roll by and push him out the door?
I just roll by and push him out. That's what paintball dads are for.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So what do you got going on right now as far as, because I know he's really big on the Punishers, and tell everybody real quick what the Punishers are.
The Punishers that you'll see him posting about is the Punishers Law Enforcement Motorcycle Club. So it's the Hells Angels, but they're all police officer and first responders. So they're not doing illegal things. No, it's a whole motorcycle club worldwide, actually, that you, in order to be a member, you've got to be a first responder, active or retired, military, police, fire, doesn't matter. So I can't get in. Obviously, Golden can get in because I guess you can be specially patched as a member, when they like you. So,
yeah.
Yeah. We have one of them plays on our team at the Expendables anyways, but yeah, amazing group. They do all kinds of things around this country for first responders and toy drives for kids, and
yeah, it's not
all
just
kinds of things,
right?
The
It's
what?
not. I said it's not just Colorado.
No, they're worldwide.
Yeah.
When they had their national convention that actually was in Denver last year, I took Karen just, it's like, hey, you want to go on this ride? Because we did a short ride that day that was just up and back to the hotel where normally we do the domestic right against domestic violence, where all that money and from the Colorado chapters and everybody that comes in worldwide for it comes back to LA Remembered. But we took him on just a little short ride during the convention that day, and then he got drafted by everybody else that night. And Steve, actually, we flew Steve out for
I
I think that
remember
was
that.
the first year we did it. He came out, and they all still talk about Steve too. They ask me every time, "Steve coming? Is Steve coming?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah, we'll get him back. Don't worry.
I remember when that happened too. That was pretty cool. Yeah, we got Caesar Pizzol watching right now, and if you guys don't know about him, he does the Ultra Silk. And let me tell you,
Yep.
you can say anything you want about Ultra Silk, but I've had my markers done with that, and
Yep.
they not only really rock, but they just sound different even for some reason. But just everything is so smooth and so fast. It's just absolutely great.
So to speak for our teammate Caesar, because that's the boom treatment you're talking about, Cap.
I am, yeah, Ultra Silk, yeah.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
it done.
Oh, absolutely.
Everybody on the band, which from Bud Orr to Dan Colby to Captain Fred, me, I'm just a little guy. Everybody's had their markers done, boom treated and set up by Caesar, and the difference is phenomenal. All of our cockers are done. He's done auto mag, so all the mag done.
Do you see the trigger work he did on that EMAC?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that
You're
thing.
talking about his?
Yeah, it was just rocking.
Oh yeah, I've played with his before, and he did mine too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
You can pretty much double finger.
Plus, he's a good guy.
EMAC.
He's one of them guys that are fun to hang out with. He's crazy. Period. I just like that kind of guy. I mean, that's why I like you so much, Andy. You're not.
That's why we wait till you go to bed when we're out playing events, because we don't want you to see the crazy shit we're getting into.
Oh, there you go. You guys are so kind to me. I just can't believe it.
Yep.
So, love it. So, Mike, I'm going to jump back to you here real quick. Now, you and I, we go back a long, long ways when it comes to playing against each other.
Yep.
Yeah. And what was the first team you played with when you played against my team, Constant Pursuit?
Oh, it was Florida. It was Florida Annihilators.
Yep. And who else was on? Who was the captain of that team?
Now, when you said the guy with the mustache was the captain, you remember? You were remembering John Shulkins, black mustache.
Right.
Yeah, that was John Shulkins. That guy, he was a manager for Pepsi.
I remember that because a lot of people were trying to get which I'm going to start trying to do this year too. We need to start bringing outside sponsors into our sport, like Coke and Pepsi, and because I love paintball, but we can't keep feeding off each other doing this.
I'm smiling because I've heard people saying that since 1995.
Yeah, but you know what? I go after it pretty good.
I have no idea why it's never worked. I'm not one of those kind of people. I'm just one of those.
Well, you have to have something.
The ground hangs the nets.
But you have to have something. One thing I've learned that when you do something, the first thing they're going to want is credentials. You don't have credentials, they'll show you the door. Now, when I did the show at MGM Disney, I got an okay from ESPN if Disney would do it. So then I had to talk Disney into it, and they said, if ESPN will do it, we'll do it. So then I call Reebok and I call Adidas, and they go, well, we're not sure. We will check your credentials. They checked their credentials. Reebok called me back in the morning. Adidas called me back in the morning, so I went with Adidas. Reebok actually called me back that afternoon, but I had already done the contract with Adidas to do it. So then when I did the MTV show, then they found the credentials. I already had the credentials to do it. So that's why they went after it, and we did the MTV show. And it's going to be the same way looking at stuff like this, if just somebody that doesn't, and it'd be the same way for you, Mike. If somebody came up to you and says, hey, you want to sponsor me? You're going to go, well, what have you done? Well, I ain't done nothing yet, but once you sponsor me, I'm going to, you're not going to get a lot of people going, hey, I want to do it. They're going to ask you. And then the next question is, what can you do for me? Period.
Well, it's all about return on investment. That's what, those companies are looking for. And paintball teams don't offer it, for the most part, because.
Well, they don't, and paintball teams don't offer it. And that was very good, Andy, very true. But, events can, if events are done correctly. Yeah. So,
well,
see,
that's we
the thing.
Change our names to the Water Boys, because remember, I've got Niagara Water, which manufactures like half the country's bottled water for everybody, and different brands backing the foundation. So we should just become the Water Boys.
Wow. You're just saying that because you leak all the time.
Right.
But yeah, hey, I think that we just need to bring outside people in, and that's why I tried to. Yeah, I tried to bring people together last year, Mike, and that I'm going to do it even more so this year. Because, like I always say, if we all work together, we can put something together.
When we first did the NXL, or at least when the powers that be did the first NXL, they were trying to bring in outside sources, such as Dick Clark Productions. I remember Penny Marshall. They were fishing for Penny Marshall. I met her and I met her grandson. I have a wonderful picture of me and Spesh Robinson from the All-Americans running down the field with one of Penny Marshall's grandkids. And the funny thing is that Chris Lasoya was one of the people that they were shooting at, and Chris was clowning around, so he whips out his cell phone. So I kind of helped one of Penny's grandkids shoot it out of his hand. Sorry, Chris.
There you go.
Yeah, so that's what we need to do this year is we need to all get together and put some of this stuff together and start bringing out, because you start bringing outside sponsors and you're going to bring more people into the sport itself. Period. Yeah. Cut and dry. Now you're Southern Florida. Now we were talking the other day too. Pete, I can't remember his last name for
Terminators.
For the Terminators, yeah. Was that his last name?
Yeah, Pete Bofill was Florida Terminators.
Yeah, he was a nice guy. And then the Orlando Panthers.
Ed Rodriguez.
Ed Rodriguez, yep. Yeah, Ed, when I did my my VHS down there, I did the Fun of Paintball with Fred Schultz. Him and all the Orlando Panthers were in it. A great bunch of guys. But, all the teams you just mentioned, we would play against them and we would butt heads big time. But, it was different. After you were done butting heads, you came off the field and everybody was just having a good time and talking about everything.
Do you know what the difference between tournaments then and tournaments now are?
I'm listening.
The difference is when we used to do those tournaments, we'd all butt heads. We'd go back to the same hotels. We would rush up. We'd all go to the same restaurants.
Yep.
Then we go back to those same hotels, hang out for the weekend, beat the crap out of each other, and that was our weekend. Nowadays, they go to these events, they rent a house, everybody goes their separate ways. The only time they see one another is for the few moments they're at the field. And after that, it's total luck if they happen to run into somebody else, possibly while they're there during the weekend. And
that's why we're trying to change it with the WCPL. We're not trying to be huge. The NXL. Tommy Cole, a friend of mine for a lot of years, and he does a great job with the NXL. But that's not us. And when we do our tournaments, one thing we've noticed is everybody gets together, just like you were just talking about. We had the last one we had was at Tim Schloss's place, and this was like Gateway Paintball in St. Louis. We all stayed at the same motel. We all ate at the restaurant down there. We had a meet and greet where, everybody was there. Gino from Velcan, David Bell from Viewloader, everybody was there. And we all got together. And what's that?
How many player parties do they hold now?
Well, that's what The
And that was another
WCPL
thing. We always used to get together and hang out.
every
I was-
Saturday. It was every Saturday night they had the players' party. But we do that now actually with the WCPL, and so and we're trying to bring that back a little bit like what it was. But yeah, back in the day, it was an incredible happening, man. It really,
Well,
really
you
was.
got to think
Wow.
about it too, like things like the World Cup back 20 years ago when it was still in Kissimmee.
Mhm.
We all stayed there at the the suites,
Days
and you
in
literally
suites,
could just
everybody was there.
walk across the street, play your games, hang out, go back, jump in the pool to clean off, piss off the hotel staff, and get yelled at because we always did, and it wasn't just me. And then everybody would go to Old Town, and that's where you'd go
Which
and
was
eat.
right at the end of the
hang.
parking lot from
Yes,
World
it was
Cup.
all right there.
Well, that's
so-
where we
Well,
stayed.
you-
That's where we stayed this last year. Was right there, Andy.
Did they remember you?
Oh yeah, of course they did. Yeah, of course they did.
Oh
Well,
my
you
God.
guys stayed down there for fun, but it's like, but that, you're talking about all of this.
Yeah, it
that
was right across.
doesn't
Old Town was
happen.
right across the street.
Yeah, well, it was all there, so you would get all the people and all the teams, and everybody would be out at night, like at Old Town, because you didn't really want to go anywhere else. You had your bars, your restaurants, and entertainment, and that place would be packed.
Yeah.
Friday,
On the beach,
Saturday,
right
Sunday
in the middle.
nights, and you got to meet everybody and hang out and see. For it now, it's like now everybody comes and goes, and in the NXL, you play your games in morning or afternoons, and
You're
they're in
gone.
and out, and they don't even stop by a vendor tent to say hello. So
But see, that's what's good about the WCPL right now. We're bringing that feeling back. And everybody hanging out together. Brownie, have you ever got to do any of the players' parties back in the day or anything like that?
Nah, never.
Oh man,
when I used to ref, never. We never hung out with the players.
Oh yeah, we got to
We
drag
refed
you out
and
to
we went to bed.
Yeah, we got to drag you
All
out
right.
to one of these. In October, same way with Mike too. In October, we do the one at Tim Schloss's. It's the big one of the year, and you and Mike should make that. I mean, it's an easy flight.
It's a little out of my range.
Just hire me and I'll come ref for you. I don't care about the party. That's what
But now the one up in the Panhandle, when's that? March, May, something like that?
Close. It's April.
April.
Okay, I knew it was somewhere around there.
Yeah,
But
it's
that
this-
one
it's
has a
this year.
possibility that I might be able to show up at.
Yeah, well, we'll be down there. I believe it's April 6th and 7th, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look. I got it written down here some damn place. But yeah, that's and you know whose field that is, don't you?
I forget. I know who it is, but you'd have to say the name just
Yeah,
so that I remember. Huh?
Dan Colby's and Steve Fresco.
Immortal Air.
Dan
Mortal Air,
Dan
yeah.
is an old dear friend of mine.
Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
Dan,
old. You got that right.
I have, like, my last build that I just made, my last autococker was. I was going with, I wanted the retro look, so I have my Air America reg on there.
Yeah.
It's
Dan and I talk every week. Yeah, Dan and I, we go back a long ways. Same way with, Bud and I go back a long ways too. Great people and good for the sport. But Brownie, we're going to have to drag you out to one of these, man. Not to ref,
Yeah.
just to come out and
No,
hang out
I want to
shoot
ref.
the
I don't
bull
wanna-
with us.
No, I want to ref. I love ref. You kidding me?
You want to ref?
I gave up refing for like 3 years. I want to come back and ref. I'm going back to the NXL refing. I'm going to ref for Steve Burke in North Carolina event. Oh,
I got to tell you, right now, a good ref is very, very hard to find. They are really looking for good refs right now because, if I don't think there's much more of a thankless job.
No.
They are, the only people who really like the refs are the guys that win.
the reason
Everybody
I
else gives them
started
crap.
reffing, Fred, do you know why I started reffing?
Why's that?
I got tired of all the bullshit. Got tired of getting worked by somebody because they were working the refs.
Yeah,
And
no, you're
finally,
absolutely right.
in 2002, when actually it was the end of 2001, Jed Green and the guys from Angel got together and they hired Bill Cookston to organize the first PRO reffing organization. And I went to work with them.
Yep.
And they hired me on, and so they hired Ryan on, and they basically were the first organization where we had no affiliation to whatever event we were going to. We hadn't, we were a separate entity, and that was the whole idea how it started. Eventually, it morphed into when the PSP and the NPPL split. The PRO went with the PSP and then ended up becoming the first NXL referees.
Wow. Yeah, because I've done my reffing years ago. I was the head ref at the Mayhem tournament over in England. And those guys over there, they were serious. I mean, those guys were serious. When you ref them, you had to be a very serious person and tell them how it was. But real quick, I want to bring something up here. And Ryan Courtney and Ryan, we were going to talk about this. I mentioned it at the beginning of the show. I got a text from Bambi Bullard yesterday, and she goes, did you know that Ken Gilder, we called him Hollywood, everybody called him Hollywood, had passed away? Well, I had known this last year after he passed away. I believe it was in December. Sometime he passed away. It was before Christmas. I know that much. And I was very, very shocked that I got that text that now people are just finding out about this because, Ken Hollywood, I'm going to call him Hollywood. His name is Ken Gilder. But, Hollywood was, he was a friend of mine for a lot of years. I traveled to all the tournaments back in the day. I mean, there wasn't nothing big going on that I wasn't there. And Hollywood was at like 90% of them all the time. And he always had on a nice suit coat and his pants and stuff and a nice shirt. He was always first class guy. And now, Mike, you got to know Hollywood also back in the day. Am I correct?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He was at every event that I ever went to also. Also, when you mentioned Rennie and Juvie Boucher, I think it is.
Boucher, yep.
He wrote for their paper. He was one of the columns that was in their paper. Was a lot of their stuff was from him. And he would write about all the local events here in Florida and then all the events that he went to around the country. And he was always writing about some event because he was always at some event.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And, he, I used to write for that. I was the West Coast editor for Paintball News for like 3 years. So, yeah, but, and did you know him? Did you ever get to meet him, Brownie?
No.
No? How about you, Andy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know Hollywood. He was, how do you sum up Hollywood? He was
a character.
Exemplified the true paintball gentleman of the sport, as the best way I could probably put it.
That's exactly a good way to put it too. He was friendly to everybody. Now Steve's got 23 on here.
Yeah.
22,
yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, you missed it by a year, buddy. So, but yeah, and here we go. Steve, this is a good one. Took time to talk to you. He took time to talk to everybody. He was just one of them guys. And any tournament I was at, he always came and hunted me down, and we would always sit down and talk. It wasn't, hey, how are you? See you later. We would sit and we would talk, and I had the pleasure of introducing him to all kinds of people that I had the pleasure of getting to meet, and he was just a great, great guy. I was just shocked that now people are wondering about that. It just kind of...
Yeah, it took me by surprise because the first wind I heard of it was Kerry Viper Rosenberry was looking for him and said, man, and then I realized that I didn't see him at this last cup. I'd seen him at the cup the year before, but I didn't see him at this one. And I didn't, it didn't dawn on me until he said something. And the next thing I know, somebody's posting, yeah, he passed away in 2022, Christmas Eve. And I was like, oh boy, that really
sucks. Because Cup was in November, so he passed away after that. He passed away before Christmas sometime.
Christmas Eve is what they're saying. That's what the obituary read.
Might be the person outside of Michael Blood who had more patches on his vest and jacket than Mike had on his jacket. Okay, did you read that, Mike?
Yeah, no. Actually, he was short a little bit, but he had a lot of patches.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. So yeah, he was a good guy. Oh, there you go. Oh yeah. Yeah, you got a few on there.
See it? Oh,
You got room for more.
run it back.
I got all of mine in
right.
baggies.
There it is, Fred.
Yeah, there I am. Yay. Right on. Yeah, I got all of mine in baggies. So hey, we got Paintball Dave watching right now too. Paintball Dave is he first time I met Paintball Dave, I went to his paintball building fields in Milwaukee, and it was a warehouse, and they had like 3 or 4 different levels. It was amazing. It absolutely was. And he's going through some times right now. He's having tests and everything like that. So, get a chance, throw a prayer out for Paintball Dave. Yeah, because we want to keep him healthy. He's a jolly old guy. Yeah. Antonia's wife, great people. But
He's a teammate.
yeah, Brownie, have you ever get a chance to meet Paintball Dave?
No.
Man, you gotta in October start planning, start telling whoever you work for that you're not going to be driving nothing in October because you're coming to St. Louis to hang out with us.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, and you come to St. Louis and
I'll quit my job to come play paintball.
Well, you don't have to play unless you want to play. You definitely can play.
No, I want to ref. I want to ref.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Bill will put you out there. Don't worry.
Yeah, let me talk to Tim about that. Yeah, and see what
ref.
because it's Tim Schloss's tournament. And here you go, Ryan Courtney. Prayer. Ryan, I got to tell you something, buddy. I cannot wait to shake your hand. I think you are one of the nicest guys that I've never got to meet face to face. I used to think that about Andy too, but then it went downhill.
Wait till you meet Ryan. Wait till you meet Ryan. Just all I gotta say is fasten your seatbelt.
Well, he, not because he watches the show, but some of the stuff he posts online and some of the things that he says about people. I'm a God-fearing guy. Okay, so and I wear it on my sleeve. If you're an atheist, that's fine. I don't care. That's up to you. Period. But and some of the stuff he posts out there, I think is just it's just really, really good. And other people that read it, they're going, "Oh wow, this paintball player saying that? Well, that's pretty damn cool. I like it." So and same way with Andy. I think Andy, I gotta hate blowing his horn because his hat ends up looking like a little beanie because his head swells so much. But Andy does an awful lot outside of paintball, and people outside of paintball see what he does, and that brings him into paintball. And same way Brownie, Brownie's out there driving, working for the fire department, driving ambulances, taking care of people. And they probably ask him, what do you do for recreation? I play paintball, and they're gonna they just kind of associate good things and good people. And once you associate that with paintball, that's what draws people in, I would think, anyhow.
Well, that's after he brings them to the hospital, Fred. You got to start somewhere.
I see. I got you. See, Brownie, I'm sure Fred Schultz can talk to Tim. And I can absolutely do that, Ryan. That's not a problem at all. Yeah, we would. I would love to have you come there, Brownie. We would introduce you. You'd come and hang out with us, and you might not go back right, but you'll have a good time.
Oh, I'm not.
But Fred.
Oh, here we go.
To get him out there to ref. Remember, Marcus and they're bringing the Preds this year.
Well, they're going to try.
Team.
Yeah, they're going to try. But yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Wait,
you might get to ref the Preds.
Yeah, but hey, I'll be there with Dan, and I got Andy. He has my back out there, man. Believe it or not, Andy doesn't look like much, but he's a hell of a player.
Some days.
Most days, actually. Yeah, Mike, you ever play anymore?
Me?
You play every weekend, don't you?
Every weekend. I've been playing every weekend I can.
That it's not hot, huh?
That it's not hot. Yeah. Even in the summertime, I do go out, but I really can't do much. I haven't done much playing in the last 5 years. I've just gotten better enough to where I've been able to get back onto the field a little more regular now.
Is there any way that you could in October? Can you fly up to St. Louis? Because man, that's a short little flight for you guys.
It's a bit out of my range these days. I pretty much go by vehicle if I go anywhere. I'm not going to get on a plane these days.
Okay, I got friends.
Especially traveling with gear. No, I don't know how you guys do it these days, but I certainly couldn't.
I got friends that don't fly either. Yeah, they go no way.
Well, when I first started my paintball career, my very first flight was I think it was Bay City Open was my first time I ever got on a plane.
That was at my field. Bay City Open. Yep.
Mare Island.
That's correct.
And you want to know what's funny? Did you see the picture? I guess it was Alex went out there and they were out there and he had a picture of, they were doing some video thing out there and just flat grassland now. There's no more trees. There's
no. Now it's all water.
What happened to it?
They put it back to a wetland.
I see.
Because I was actually going to do that tournament because that was a lively tournament, the Bay City Open, and he wanted me to put it together, so I put it together. And the field I was going to use, he goes, "Well, I can't handle it." And this is like 2 weeks before this tournament, I want to tell you. So anyhow, I go to the city of Vallejo. I'd seen this place out there, and it was an old military barracks, and they'd tore down all the barracks and still had all the foundations and stuff out there. So a friend of mine named Keith Kissel, him and I went out there and we took a look at it. And I went to the city, and the city goes, I don't know, paintball. And I go, hey, it's a one-time thing. Give me a permit so we can do it. So we did it. And then afterwards we got the field. And because I had, it's called a jungle now, but I started that field out there. We called it Battle Action Games. And that's where I met a lot of people like Bob Long. And I mean, that's where everybody came out there to play. And I just started the field because I had 40 some guys working for me at that time. And we were playing on an empty lot in town. And I knew that wasn't going to happen much longer because the neighbors were starting to get mad about it. So I went and got the field. And next thing I know, it became a business. I was getting everybody coming out there.
It was the only field you could play and eat at the same time. You could chew on the anise if you wanted to.
Hey, let me tell you.
Trent introduced me to how to do that.
Yeah, well, Daryl Trent.
Daryl taught me how to play those fields.
Yeah, because, we made paths through the anise. You would go through the anise, and everybody, the anise was like 7 feet tall here, guys. So you'd go through the anise, you'd stick your head out, and there'd be another lane, and people would just be flying at you there, man. But yeah, it was a good time. It really, really was.
Yeah.
They're down to ref at the WCA. Terry Schloss. Here we go. Terry Schloss, Brownie Brown is down to ref at the WCPL event. Well, Terry is Tim. Terry is Tim's wife. She's gorgeous. I mean, a terrific lady. But Tim uses her phone because Tim just got away from using carrier pigeons, so his phone is not the newest.
Yeah, he's not too technological.
Oh, he doesn't do the rock carving anymore?
No, no rock carving, and he was using, like I say, the pigeons, but they cost too much to feed, Tim.
Well, how many pigeons per stone tablet?
They just had to be large pigeons. That was the problem.
Okay.
Yeah, the bad part was, Mike, is when we were having the last St. Louis WCPL, we told Tim he needed to call back to the field.
Check this out.
The hotel down, trying to send the smoke signals out of the lobby. So
did you hear us talking about you?
Enough.
This is Tim Schloss, everybody.
Sorry, Tim.
Hi, Tim.
I resemble everything you said.
It wasn't me, it was Mike.
I know.
Did I ever tell you the story
My
how I
fondest
met
memory
Tim?
of Mike was him driving home from a last blast in Florida on his motorcycle down the interstate. He had like this 100cc motorcycle with all his gear on a backpack, and he's driving right behind a semi truck, so it was breaking the wind for him in December. That's determination there, pal.
Absolutely. Yeah, Brownie Brown, we were talking about, because, you know, I try to get everybody to go to your tournament in October, because that was so much fun last year. I can't even begin to say
Yeah.
it.
Oh, it'll be even better this year. You know, every year we make it better. If he'd like to ref, man, I would love to have him. And anybody that's anybody like him, man. I mean, all we can do is make it better.
Yeah, he seems like a no nonsense guy. You know, I mean,
That's what we need.
yeah, oh yeah, he's been all over my butt for a year to be on the show, and I finally put him on. So I was afraid he was going to come looking for me. So,
Well, if it looks like he looks on the picture, you better do what he says. I think he could probably back up what he says.
yeah, and yeah, he drives an ambulance, so he's got it down pretty good. He's a good guy.
Yeah. No, if he'd like to ref, that'd be great. I'd love to have him. If he's got any buddies that we'll get him up here and put him on the staff. I'd love. We can't. All we're doing is trying to make it better.
Yeah, absolutely. And these guys are skilled because these guys have refed for a long, long time.
Yeah. Well, it's yeah. Well, I don't want to take up the show, but you got a real legend there with Boogie, man. I mean, what a great guy. I mean, we used to sponsor the Annihilators, and we've been to a lot of events where he was, and that's a great guy.
Hey, Tim, let me ask you a question. Who didn't you sponsor back in the day?
Well,
yeah, there you go.
We did a lot of them, but they were, we didn't, if you're a good guy, we helped you out.
Absolutely, yeah, they were terrific. Did we have fun?
But there were none of them. Hey, there were none of them as good as you.
Oh, I love you. Did we not have fun back in the day, though? Are we bringing it back with the WCPL?
I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you, we've, it's an event, and the paintball is part of the experience, but the rest of the experience, just the, getting together and visiting and, chumming it up. I mean, it's a great time. That's what we're after. And that's why, if we can get some better refs in this thing, it just is going to make it even that much more fun.
Absolutely. I agree totally, my brother.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go. Happy New Year to everybody. And I'll talk to y'all soon.
You stay safe. Tell Terry I said hi.
I'll do it, brother.
Love you, brother. Bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Tim Schloss. So you talk about the legend, and the legend calls.
Did I ever tell you how I met him?
No, go ahead.
In the 1989 Masters, me and my buddy Phil Baker and his girlfriend Janelle go strolling into the vendor's tent. Now, a couple months before, Janelle had made for Phil a London Fog jacket out of tiger stripe. And Phil was strutting his stuff going into the vendor's tent. And all of a sudden, Tim come running up going, "Hey, where'd you get that coat?" "Made it." "Where'd you get the material?" "At the fabric store in Naples, Florida." "Oh, really? Well, let me get back to you." What happened is Tim unfortunately found out his product was going out the back door somehow and ended up in a fabric store in Naples, Florida.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah. And the first he knew about it is when he saw that coat walk into that event.
Wow.
That's how I met it.
I still have, this is my tiger stripe tux right here.
Oh, I remember that thing well.
Yeah, there's only 17 of these made.
Yep.
The tails.
I have a Western Duster made out of Realtree.
Was that right?
24 yards of material from the Realtree people when they were sponsoring us back in the early 90s.
Wow. Tim sponsored so many people back in the day, and I got to tell you, it used to really burn me sometimes when I'd see these guys get up there and talk about their sponsors, and they're wearing his damn clothes, but don't mention them. And I got to tell you that, I mean, I still mention the guy at the beginning of all my shows, but back in the day, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that happen. It was just lousy. It really, really was.
Then again, remember, you're dealing with paintballers, and, we're not.
Yeah, you're talking mentality. I got you.
We're not the sharpest tools in the drawer.
No, I got you. And, I agree there. But, to me, loyalty's loyalty, because some uniforms weren't free for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They cost him quite a bit of money to get the material, to get it sewed up. and then to give it to guys that go out and, you know, they wouldn't think twice about coming up and going, hey, I got a tear in my knee. Could I have another pair of pants?
I always hated those kind of guys. And that always drove me crazy.
Yeah.
I only accepted what I needed. If I had plenty of, because like I can remember going to some events and Sonny, what is Sonny's last name?
Lopez?
Yes.
Yes,
when he was the JT representative back in the early 2000s, he was one of their, doing their booths, and he offered me a pair of their fine JT pants. And I looked at him and says, I got so much stuff as it is. I really don't need them. Why don't you give them to some young kid that comes in? Next one, young kid that's looking at stuff and can't afford it, give them to him.
There you go.
I mean, and that's I look at the stuff like the Sandana stuff and all the old gear that people are selling for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
I gave all that stuff away back in the 90s to anybody who was coming up in the sport and was trying to get going. Oh, you need a pair of pants? Oh, you need a jacket? You need this. Here you go, dude. They gave me this. I don't use it anymore. You can have it.
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir there,
you know how it is.
Why I got such a soft spot for Tim, the camo was great. And he put out a camo with the black sleeves like I asked him to one time. And it was
those
cool.
look fantastic.
But I traveled with the guy. And the guy, I got to tell you, he is so funny. It isn't he? I mean, he is just a great guy. And him and I traveled, we went overseas a few times together, and I just never, ever had a bad time with him at all. And the respect that he has for paintball and for the people in paintball, it's just unwavering. I think it's absolutely terrific. And that's why I call him he is my best friend. I got a lot of great friends in paintball. Absolutely love them. But if I had to put somebody on the top, if somebody had to be the cherry, I guess it would be Tim, because that's how far. And I go back a long ways with Bud Orr. I go back a long ways with Dan Colby. I go back a long ways with Gino from Dalkin. I go back a long ways with all of these guys. Huh?
Don't forget T-Rex.
T-Rex. Oh my God, he hit me with a funny there. I love it.
Oh, by the way, that was Mr. Kevin Donaldson piping in there saying that Boogie, you're always one of the good guys.
Oh, thank you, Kevin. Appreciate it.
Yeah, the check's in the mail.
Did you like my hat, Fred?
I can't make it out.
VL?
View loader.
View loader. Oh, you know what? David Bell, when I was in New York this year.
Yeah.
David Bell gave me, I have probably about 15 of his original T-shirts that he had. And he brought them up and gave me about 15 of them. And they're all the original ones, different kinds and stuff like that.
I've got a couple of them laying around here, but they're a small, so I could probably use them as a diaper.
I love it. Well, you know what? We've kind of blown over our hour, which I knew was going to happen anyhow. And Andy, that was even after cutting my monologue short. So,
well, you forget time. I mean, we know this. I play for you.
Well,
okay.
You talking to guys like this, it's easy to forget time. Well, I mean, I could sit and I could rattle on with these guys until like midnight. Although it is almost midnight for those two. But
it's only 11 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go. So Brownie, I got to tell you, you're going to want to try to make that October thing.
Just give me the dates. I'll come rep for Tim. Shit. All he's got to do is have food snacks, and I'm ready to go.
I don't know, man. By the size of you, that might be quite a bit. Because look at the size of Andy. And Andy, I can't tell you. He gets a steak that's got to be 4 pounds. And he wipes that thing out in about, I don't know, 2.5 minutes?
I got to power up because, I have to run up to the 50 because you ain't going to make it.
Well, yeah, that's true. My 50 is now the 20. But
my 50 is home.
Well, you got me beat, Mike.
That's where I waddle to first.
I got two
speeds. slow, and emergency slow.
Oh, there you go. There you
No,
go.
we need to get Brownie there, and we need to
Yeah,
get
well,
Ryan
we're
there.
gonna start working on it right
Ryan
now.
should be close.
Yeah, we're gonna
Ryan's
start.
only over in Kentucky. He should only be a few hours away.
Well,
Or he
Ryan,
still lives in Kentucky. Ryan
Yeah,
is still in Kentucky.
Ryan's in Kentucky, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Brownie's up by New York.
Listen,
Oh, he
I'll
needs
drive.
to-
I hate flying. I'll drive to San Diego. Let's go.
He
Not
needs to
San
come
Diego.
play with us in
St.
New
Louis.
York.
St. Louis, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I've
you
driven
know
to-
what?
I've driven to Kentucky.
You
for
know who else?
MSXO.
Do you know Charles Holton? Happy?
He's listening.
Yeah, he's listening too. I think he drives. So Brownie, if you're going to drive,
Yeah.
we can link you up with a couple of these guys, and you could all drive together. Probably drive
Whatever,
each other
I'm
nuts,
down.
but you could still drive each other. Drive together, because we would love to have you there. I mean, it is a memory being in St. Louis with Tim and everybody that shows up for there. It's a memory that will stick with you forever. Something that you will absolutely love. And I wish we could drag Mike up there somehow, but
It would take a monetary miracle to get me up there.
yeah, that's a shame. But maybe we can get you up to Danny's in Florida in April.
I'm thinking that might be a possibility. I might be able to figure out how to get to there.
Yeah, you come up there and we'll hang out and shoot the bull. And then Brownie, we're going to be working on that now.
Mike, if I fly to Florida, pick you up, and we'll drive to St. Louis.
He doesn't fly.
No.
No,
I'll
he
fly
wants to
Florida.
drive. No,
I'll rent the
St.
van
Louis,
and we'll drive up.
St. Louis is about a 14-hour trip from here.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan's now offering to pay for Mike's ticket to fly him there.
Oh, Christ. Well, we'll see what the future holds.
There you go. Right on. All right, guys. Well, we blew past our hour. Both you guys stay in touch with me because I want to see if we can't get you guys there in October. We still got quite a few months yet. And Brownie, you start working on the days off. I'll get you the dates. I think it's the middle of October. I'll get you the dates. And you
Usually
get
the
a couple
13th,
times off, and we'll
15th,
get you out there, and you'll have a great time with us. Even if you feel like reffing, which I know you're good at, but we'll get you out there, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah, I'll pack my ref gear tomorrow. Let me know.
There you go. All right. Well, Brownie, I'm going to let you be the first to go, but I want to have you back on the show again.
All right, definitely.
I
And
enjoyed
out of here
having you on
later.
very much. And I'm going to let you say goodbye to everybody.
Good night, all. Nice meeting
See you,
guys.
buddy. Nice to see you.
You too. Have a good night, guys.
All right. Thanks again for coming on, Brownie. Good guy. Good guy. Mike, I appreciate it. You and I, we could probably talk. I'm going to have you back on again also.
I'll let you know how I got started when we next time.
Yeah. Well, the next time's not going to be too far away. The next time will probably be maybe in about 6 weeks, if that's okay with you.
Doesn't matter. I don't do anything. I don't have a life.
Well,
I
Yeah,
sit at home, I play video games, and I go play paintball on the weekends. It's a
There you
rough
go.
life. Somebody's got to do it.
actually, I'm
Right.
jealous now, but yeah, we'll link back up, and
right,
I
buddy.
want to thank you so much for taking the time to come on tonight.
Oh,
Now
no,
let's say
thanks for
goodbye to
having me.
everybody.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, well, we'll do it again.
All right, buddy.
All right, brother. You stay safe.
See ya.
Bye. What a couple great guys, huh?
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, I just I got to tell you, the guys you get to have on this show, God, talk about blessed. I absolutely love it. And then to have Tim Schloss call in. What a
Oh,
treat
yeah.
that guy is. Yeah, I love that guy. Damn.
We love our Grandpa Tim, yes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, but you know what? He actually is a couple of weeks older than I am. So I'm going to take that. That's okay.
It's true. Yeah.
Yep. So, well, Andy, I appreciate you jumping on here with us tonight, my friend.
Well, as always.
So,
Well, and let's, we should have done it if he was on there, but let's give a huge round of applause for everybody watching, and do it after you watch it later on when, it's not 11 o'clock and you're streaming it tomorrow when you're at work instead of actually working.
Yeah,
take
that's
a minute
actually
to-
that's actually when most people watch it is
yeah.
tomorrow. Let me
Well,
see here.
take a minute at that point to thank a first responder.
Absolutely. We've already had 93 views. The show still hasn't even ended yet.
Well, there you go.
And it
Yeah.
hasn't been shared yet. So yeah.
When it does get shared, hear the message, go thank a first responder. If you're out, you see police, fire, medical, anybody around like that, take a moment to walk up and tell them thank you for your service. It means a lot. We do it everywhere we go. We fight over, paying for their bills when we see them, at a restaurant or in fast food or something, all the time. It's just honoring what they do for all of us. So, it's good. So it's a good feeling, but it really lets them know that, you got their backs and that we appreciate everything they do. So,
Yep.
yeah.
See what Ryan just put out there?
Oh, yeah. I still haven't met Ryan for some reason. I don't even have him as a friend on Facebook, so
yeah, I do
he's going to get my request here, thinking it's probably spam.
Yeah, no, we will definitely get to meet him. I'm absolutely looking forward to that. But I first read it, I thought it said, Andy, you have rocks in your head. But I seen it, Andy, you're right. Okay,
Probably.
I got that. So, Andy, thanks a lot for coming on tonight, my friend.
See you, Cap.
I'll see you in the green room. All right.
All right.
All right, everybody. First of all, appreciate so much you guys watching tonight. Great guests. I get to spend a lot more time with them, but I will next time, I guess. So next week, I'm going to have another MagFed show. I'm going to have a guy that I had on, Noah Herrick. I had him on a couple of weeks ago. Great guy. So I'm going to start spreading some of this stuff around. So if you get a chance, tune in next week. You can watch. It's going to be MagFed next week. All right. So I want to thank all my guests I had tonight. I want to thank all my viewers. I wish everybody that they have a terrific 2024. I hope it's going to be great for everybody. I absolutely love it. So until next Tuesday evening, 7:00 Pacific time on Facebook, on Flagpole Production. Please, everybody, play hard, play safe, play fair. Get out there and play some paintball, huh? I'll see you next week.